Alright, YouTube, as reported by the Daily Beast, is something that I saw posted on 4chan last night, as well as today, which is that there's some reason to believe the possibility. I'm not sure if this is true. There's a possibility, though, that a 4chan troll or group of trolls actually managed to manufacture the Pissgate materials that got sort of wrapped up with this other crap about Russia, as reported by BuzzFeed and others. Now, earlier in Trump's response to this, you saw several things. Number one, he praised parts of the media, and this makes sense. Some parts of the mainstream media refused to report on this, or remarked on it only in passing as something unsubstantiated and therefore not really newsworthy, which is true. No evidence has been offered that Trump ever had prostitutes defile like the Obama's bed in Moscow. No evidence has been offered of this weird anime party stuff. No evidence has been offered for any of this. It's literally nothing more than a PDF compiling some scanned pages. The source could literally be everything. The best evidence we have of where this came from is extremely convoluted. It almost boggles the mind. It looks like what happened is that trolls manufactured part of this, and it ended up getting wrapped up with the rest of an actual intelligence report on Trump's maybe fiscal ties with Russia, directly and indirectly, by being fed to the FBI by none other than John McCain, who in turn got it from Nick Mullen, who in turn got it from this idiot at BuzzFeed, who, by the way, and I thought he looked familiar last night, and this was verified, I thought, haven't I seen this dude before? I think it's the same dude that said that the alt-right were all single men who lived in their parents' basements and masturbated to anime. I remember that from during the election. Of course, who's laughing now, I suppose? The alt-right's getting a great chuckle at the expense of people like this. It's the same person, this Rick Wilson or whatever. The same person who was quoted as saying that on, I think it was MSNBC during the election around October, is also the same individual now who went on MSNBC to justify this so-called intelligence report. But what it looks like is that much of this content wasn't actually from a primary intelligence report. It was masquerading as British intelligence, funneled from one individual to the other through none other than John McCain, who would have had a vested interest in trying to destroy Trump, and then finally broke through to BuzzFeed. Which means that, essentially, if we assume that this particular individual on 4chan who posted long ago, and on his Twitter, which I think he has made private now, stated the same, it appears as though there's a possibility that some random 4chan troll, using politically incorrect there, managed to troll large swaths of the mainstream media as well as possibly a sitting U.S. senator and the U.S. intelligence community. If that is actually true, it does not speak well of the FBI and the CIA and their ability to vet material. It certainly doesn't speak well of the U.S. media and its ability to differentiate between stuff that is fraudulent, more or less obviously, and material that's actually legit. Now, one look at the material here, whether you're going by the sort of addendum material involving the hentai and so forth, or just the original report, which it's difficult to tell what is what here. Regardless, the claims of both are so massively over the top that, as I said last night, if I'm going to believe that this material is legit, I need a significant amount of evidence that that's the case. For something that would be that damaging, I need significant evidence. This isn't like the DNC leaks or something like that. This isn't one of those situations where those in question named in such documents, like DNC leaks through WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks dumps the material, and what does the DNC do? It never proclaims that the material's false. It has Biden come out and say, well, maybe it is. Everyone else says, oh, we're not even going to talk about it because it's Russian hackers. That is, that they would rather shoot the messenger and not discuss the content. That's because the content was real. Trump did the opposite. Today, when he came out to speak of these things, he said, clear, up in front, no, this is not real. It's a hack job. It's not true at all. That's what you would expect an individual to do if it actually isn't true. If a person's in politics, if they think there's any possibility that actual intelligence implicates them in such a scheme, they will talk around it for hours. They will never once positively declare that it's not true. The fact that he has shows me that it isn't true. And I said that last night. I didn't need to wait for his response. If you look at the documents, it is quite clearly fabricated. I had some idiot on the other video that I made last night say, oh, now you're going into Alex Jones mode because you're proclaiming this stuff to be untrue without evidence. It has been claimed without evidence. These documents are merely scans. These documents could have literally been typed up by anybody in the world, scanned into a PDF and sent into BuzzFeed. That is evidence of absolutely nothing, unless the head of the FBI, unless Comey or the head of the CIA or NSA or MI6 comes out and says, yes, these are indeed true, we did compile them, we have vetted them, we know them to be true. Unless they're willing to come out and positively affirm that, I won't even believe the possibility that this is real. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. There's a reason that I generally shun mainstream organized religion. This claim is barely short of the idea of a virgin birth, as far as how convoluted and retarded it is. Yes, Trump, not only am I supposed to believe, if I listen to the BuzzFeeds of the world, not only is Trump the next Adolf Hitler, not only is he so massively corrupt that he won't show us his tax returns because he's got literally billions in debt to the Russians, he's been blackmailed, he's been totally compromised, he's also a complete sexual pervert who hires dozens or maybe hundreds of prostitutes and talks about hating black people openly, referring to his shit as being Obama and stuff like that. No, I don't believe that. I think that that's a witch hunt in the most literal sense. I think that it is the type of propaganda that we're seeing only generally happens when a very large core of like a corporate and bank and political establishment complex wants you to believe that somebody's like the son of the devil so that they can completely lay waste to their reputation as a prelude to killing them off or something like that. And we've seen it before. This is some heavy propaganda right here that we're seeing, but there's no evidence that this report is true in any way, shape, or form. So until that evidence is given, why would I take it seriously? I have no doubt that there's the possibility that this was started by some random 4chaner. It's possible. Yeah, it is. It's also possible that it was fed to BuzzFeed by some BuzzFeed staffer in a way to skirt slander laws and things of that nature, defamation laws, in order to get juicy stories. One problem that the media has created, and this we need to remember this, they've spent months hyping up the entire left wing, as well as people who generally don't like Trump, independents or whatever, never Trump Republicans. They've hyped them up by talking about how evil Trump is. So when Trump fails to do evil things, like you saw his press conference, he acted normally. He was much more coherent than when he was campaigning, honestly. He did a good job. When he acts normal, you have to manufacture outrage. Otherwise, you lose that clickbait. That's what the mainstream media has devolved into. It's nothing more than clickbait at this point. Trump comes out and says CNN is fake news, he won't take their questions. I don't blame him. You've got a news organization that is pretending the possibility that this material, that is unsubstantiated, unvetted, not backed up by the actual intelligence agencies apparently, and with the most dubious of sources at the most dubious of times, they appear to be taking it halfway seriously. That is fake news. It's not even fake news, it's not even news at all. It's not real. It's mythology, essentially. It's propaganda. It's their sort of last gasp attempt, I guess, to denigrate his support before he takes office. They're probably hoping to impeach him right away or some crazy shit like that. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think that's what they want to do. I think they won't get their way. I think ultimately a lot of people, whether salon or being liberal, want this or not, will normalize Trump because they're going to realize he's not nuts. The bar has been set so low. If somebody pays attention to the mainstream media, they think once Trump takes office, all hell breaks loose. When that doesn't happen, they'll say, oh, he's not doing a half-bad job. He seems almost normal. Well, no shit. That's because he is. This is going to be It's me amusing to watch their reactions, I suppose. But yeah, if I were him, I wouldn't take CNN's questions for the next 4 years. I'd let him fucking wither. That's about all. Peace out.